welcome to Monday Morning Quartersback. My name is UltraDavid. This is the show where we analyze fighting game matches from over the past weekend. And this time, I want to take a look at this weekend's CPT Online Southeast Asia, which was won by Xian. Congratulations to Xian. That means that he qualifies for Capcom Cup. He did it using Seth. He played Seth. Now, this is a player who has played multiple characters in the past. He, if you recall, began Street Fighter V's life playing Fang. He was a Fang player. And in Season 1, he actually did have some success. He did okay, here and there. I recall him getting 9th at some stuff. He was not nothing, but that character was a pile of garbage. And everybody knew it. And as soon as Ibuki was out, he was playing Ibuki. And he's been sticking basically with Ibuki since then. Every once in a while, you'll hear about him playing somebody else. But for the most part, he has been an Ibuki player. Well, he began playing Seth, we know, a little while ago. I watch his stream now and then, and I have seen him playing Seth. I've seen him playing Seth at some other events. He played Seth in, I believe, one set in the first CPT Online Southeast Asia. This one, he was just playing Seth, and he qualified into Capcom Cup. Now, he's not the only Seth player who has made it into Capcom Cup already. You know who else made it? Was SKZ. Also, in Southeast Asia's CPT, he won the first one. I want to take a look at Seth. What's this Seth character about? Both of these players have gone from other characters. SKZ, I recall playing Cammy before this, and Xian, Ibuki. Now they're both on Seth. They both made it into Capcom Cup. We see other people playing Seth. I see some other top Japanese players playing Seth. I've seen some top NA players playing Seth. What's going on here? Let's talk about this character. So this stream today, this show today, is going to be about Seth. And what is it about Seth that's making people pick up this character? What is it about Seth that's making some people think that he's the best character in the game? What is it about this character that has led to 2 people already qualifying from the same region into Capcom Cup using Seth? Let's take a look at that. And to do that, we are going to go upstairs to UltraDavid in the press box for the call. Hey, thanks a lot, David. I appreciate you setting it up down there on the field. Looks like a nice day out there today in Northern California, here in Berkeley, of course, in the Bay Area, where we are at California Memorial Stadium. Like you said, some people think that Seth is one of the best characters in the game. I know you didn't say it down there on the field, David, but I personally do believe that Seth is the best character in the game. And since Seth dropped, you can go back and check the tweets. I've thought that Seth has been top tier. And I thought that it would have been a hotter take for somebody to have said that Seth was not top tier than to say that Seth was top tier. In my view, that was how it went. And so I think you're absolutely right that we should analyze what's going on with this character. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at Xian versus Bravery from this past weekend. Take a look at how Seth fights Cammy. We are going to listen to an interview with Xian that St. Cola and James did after Xian won the event. We're going to take a look as well at the previous CPT Southeast Asia in which SKZ won it playing Seth. And what's very interesting about that is that Chuan, a Guile player, very strong player, played against Xian in losers finals of that event, and then immediately thereafter played against SKZ, and as just like a perfect experimental sort of situation that you never get in social science, it was back-to-back Chuan Guile versus Ibuki from Xian, and then Chuan Guile versus SKZ Seth, right back-to-back, so we get to compare them and contrast them very easily in that way. That's the game plan for today. All right, let's get into this thing. And let's head to the game By the way, this was commentated by St. Cola and James Chen, who I think both did a nice job. Let's head on in there. Shoutouts to the Campanile, again. Let's do it, and please let me know. So, Seth. Here's a character that we'll be talking about a lot of strengths for, but I just want to get into this by watching the first round, and then maybe we can slow things down and get a little bit of a conversation here. Okay, as you can see, crouching jab goes into counter hit combo into half screen corner carry, and oh, a good couple hundred damage. Safe pressure there. Safe harassment really is what it is. Gigantic range on jump short. Anti-air invul DP. Okay. Now don't count out bravery. Bravery is really strong. Nice movement speed trying to get away. The back walk speed looks pretty legit. Okay, here's the V-Trigger 2 activation. Not to much effect, but it's pretty good chip on that. And in any case, Xian's got a big life lead right now. He gets to harass. So let's go back and talk about some of the things that we saw here. Let's move this guy out of the way. Sorry, production's getting a little bit hurried on this side of things. Let's go back here. Let's talk about Seth. After you just got a little bit of a glimpse of what's going on here. Hey, Skazo, if that's the name that you want me to use for the purposes of this program. Thanks so much for the sub, dude. I hope things are going well. Looking forward to another game night, another D&D night. Seth. This character has so many different options, and we already got to see some of them. So here's some nice walk speed. As you can see, pretty good range on this stuff. Crouching short, crouching medium kick, both pretty good ranges. Good backdash. This is going to be an extremely important thing. So let's talk about it now. This is a huge part of what makes this character strong. Very few characters in Street Fighter V can change their jump arcs. These are actually just a couple of them. There are a few others. It's not a long list. And I think that's because in Street Fighter IV, there were several characters, and in Street Fighter III, there were a couple characters who had super good jump arc changing moves. That could be plus on block pretty easily. That could really screw with the opponents, and I think they didn't want to do that again in Street Fighter V. So there have not been many characters who have jump arc changers. And especially, there are only a few characters who have tools that change their jump arc without using meter that can be safe or neutral or even plus on block in the correct circumstances. Again, Cammy is an instance of a character who has a move that changes her jump arc, her dive kick, of course. She typically requires EX meter to make that advantaged on block. And even in that case, if she does it too high up against certain characters, it's not going to be plus. Even for her. So for Seth, this move right here is gigantically important because it's really the only one in the game that satisfies these criteria. You can use it while neutral jumping, you can use it to get plus frames, and you can use it without spending bar. All of those things can happen simultaneously, and like it's the only one pretty much. One of a very, very small set of characters who has this kind of option. And that means that you get to do all the good things that you want to do by having this extra mobility option. You think the opponent's going to be at a range where they can anti-air you? Well, bring this in to cut your jump range short so that their anti-air will whiff. You think that they're going to try to anti-air a little later? Do this early on top so that it will hit them out of things. Create plus frames for yourself at max distance. You can really do a lot of different stuff with this move. But we're going to take a much bigger look at that in the future. Let's look at this. This is maybe 150 damage, something like that, out of a crouching jab. And there it is. Now, if you notice, that's not actually a point-blank crouching jab. He's not actually point-blank. So for some characters, counter hit confirms, they got to be really close. Seth is out here with his 3-frame crouching jab. not at point blank range, and he gets to go into the target chain, into V skill, which builds him V meter. If you notice down here, let me bring in my handy dandy. Look at that. Oh boy, that was about the worst that I could have done it, huh? Let's try that one again. Here we go. That built him V meter, and that built him about half of 1 bar of V meter. Well, I guess including blocking stuff, but you know, that built maybe a third of a bar of V meter. That's not nothing. That is a significant amount of V meter to be building in a way that doesn't cost EX bar, that does nice damage, that gets a nice little knockdown for himself. If you notice where he is afterward, he is point blank afterward, and that had about a half stage corner carry. Right? He gets a free dash in twice. Already looking pretty good, I would say. So, the spin kick, which I think is funny because you know how old people call it spin kick? Hurricane kick, they call it spin kick. This is actually just spin kick, which I think is great. I mean, that's not literally the name, but it's, you know, that's what's going on here. So light is -8. Light's -8. But if you notice this range that he does it from, this is a range where at 8 frames, I mean, who gets to punish this? I'll tell you who gets to punish it. It's 8-frame EX butt slam. But very few characters get to punish this. So he can harass, and if it hits, he gets a knockdown. If not, point blank, that's a problem. At maximum range of crouching medium kick, mostly he's safe. That's safe. So that is Hecatoncheires, and that is at worst -4. The fierce one's -2, and EX is -2. So another basically safe way to harass, and if you pay attention to where, you know, he is here, -4 here is basically, you know, that's light headbutt kind of range where, again, nobody's punishing you at that spot. Okay, it's coming fast. It's coming fast and furious here. All these little things to talk about for Seth. That DP, the Mad Cradle Dragon Punch, that is invincible to mid-air attacks from frame 1. That's the medium version. That's air invul. So he has a meterless air invul DP. Okay, that was a lot of damage. We'll talk about that shortly. That was a lot of damage. Here we go. Now look at the chip damage on that. Nothing ends up working out about this. There's no hit, but a lot of different things can come in these situations. I won't pretend to know all of the V-Trigger 2 setups. I'm not gonna lie to you guys about that. But I do know that out of V-Trigger 2 setups as a broad category, you can set up the overhead, you can set up the low, you can set up cross up or not, you can set up throw frame trap kind of situations. There's a lot of different stuff you can do. And because, like I was saying before, Seth can build V-meter using V-skill in a way that also is dealing damage and is also getting corner carry, he can credibly get 2 V-Trigger 2s per round. Now, that's not going to happen all the time. Maybe it's not going to happen most of the time. But it's more practical for him than it is for most characters. Big time plus as well. Absolutely right. If you get the explosion in there, for sure. So it's a way to try things out that's not terribly risky. Well, it's not risky, really. And at the end, there's so much stuff to talk about in this round. This is just it's a dense Seth round. It really is. That's the character. So I mentioned that after the rush punches here. So look at the range. That was maximum crouching strong range. This is a -4 situation. And, well, actually, I guess I assume that this is light. I don't know. It's hard to see on reaction for me which one this is. If you know which one this is, let me know if it's not light. But if it's light or medium, it's -4. And what that means is that he's not advantaged here. But if you see the range here where Bravery would love to do something but doesn't have any options to immediately get there, Bravery's choice is to dash in. And Xian calls that out and hits him with crouching medium kick. So just like how other characters like Honda, Dictator, Birdie, you know, characters who really have a great game of putting themselves at a certain spacing where they're not actually plus on block, but where they can nevertheless sort of wish punish or whiff punish, you know, however you want to think about that. This is exactly the same kind of thing. So even though Xian's not advantaged in that situation, frame data wise, he still kind of can create an advantage out of it, right? It's just a set of mix-ups. If Cammy had pressed a button here instead of dash, that might have worked, but you know, would also be hard for Cammy to have confirmed in that kind of situation. She's not at a range where she can do 2 buttons for hit confirm. It would have to be something like crouching medium kick at a timing where it would hit his Seth's crouching medium kick, and then Bravery would have to one hit confirm. I mean, that's doable, but pretty tough to do. So Seth, already we've talked about anti-airs and combos and corner carries and frame traps and spacing traps and all sorts of stuff. Very option heavy sort of character. Yeah, that's safe as well. I believe that's -2. I'm gonna look that up for you, but I believe it is. Yes, it is. Oh my god, it's huge. This is a huge portion of this. We'll go back and take a look very shortly. Great damage and stun. That's gonna be the stun. I believe Xian was hoping that that would be into super. That's gonna be safe as well. And goes up into the sky for the trade. Very interesting. So again, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this round. That was only a 30-second round, but there's still gonna be a bunch to discuss. Okay, here's Bravery. Bravery's really good. Don't see this and think, oh, Bravery's not so great. False. Stan Roundhouse. Let's talk about this button and the anti-air that it represents. By the way, not just anti-air. We'll see some stuff later that it shows its utility on the ground as well, but as an anti-air, this button is extremely strong. Can't really see it, but trust me when I say that its hurt box is not there as an anti-air. Like you're not gonna hit him in the feet. It's super good button. And so he has this as a tool on deck for Cammy because it has a big horizontal range. It has a small vertical hurt box, and not just that, but it creates a juggle. And at just a minimum of going into the spin kick afterward, you already have dealt, I don't know, 10% of her life, and maybe a little bit more than that. And you've also gotten the pressure immediately. You know, if he wanted to, Xian could have done super in that situation as well. Counter hit combo. Look at the damage on this. And not just the damage. Take a gander at the stun. So this is a DP, gets blocked. Huge stun increase. Huge damage increase. And again, Seth is right there. Seth is next door to Cammy as she's waking up. Seth is outside of her front door, right there, peering in on her bedroom. And so the grab right away with the stun. This was an anti-air that did 10 to 15% damage into immediate pressure. Then it was a block DP punish that did, I don't know, 35% and immediate pressure. And then it was a grab, and that was it. It was a stun. It was right away. Now, this is very close to Xian sealing the deal. If that had built just a tiny bit more of super meter, this was going to be canceled into super, and Xian would have just outright taken it. Not quite there, but he really did 75% of her life, something like that, in just 2 combos. That's safe. So if you have V skill 2, which he does, as you can see right there. If you have V skill 2, then once you activate it, you can do the Hecatoncheires glide, and that's -2. That's -2. So take a look at this again as we go back So not only, this is a block, all right? Bravery blocks this. And he gets fully cornered, and Xian builds V meter. Now he has V trigger, and Xian is only -2. He's totally fine. On block. And so, look, now here's Bravery. Doesn't last long. And I feel like this round is just a really, really good encapsulation of a lot of the really strong stuff that characterizes Seth in this game. Seth has really most of the tools that you need to be a top-level character in Street Fighter V. And in that one game, we saw most of it. The 3-frame button, the anti-air invul DP on the defensive side. On the defensive side as well, ability to counter hit confirm, crouching jab into significant damage, significant corner carry, and V meter and super meter build. The ability to basically get pressure on everything. All the knockdowns that you're going to do, most of the knockdowns you're going to do, are immediate pressure situations for you. You snowball as Seth. Anti-airs there, not just the DP, but the stand roundhouse. Extremely good anti-airs. Stand roundhouse creates good damage, and again, creates knockdown pressure right away. The ability to have 2 V-triggers around as a credible option. The ability to build V-meter quickly. Good walk speed. Good buttons. Good spacing traps. It's so much. There's so much. And Xian, again, just kind of melted Bravery. This is in their winners' first round of top 8 match, by the way. Maybe should have said that before, but that's where we are. Yep, ready for it. And now because of that, already the corner. Yes. V meter built, super meter built. Again out of the sky. EX. The damage on this guy. And a little bit too far away for that for Bravery. Who, okay, bravely brings in DP. He is chasing. Ah, but there you go. There you go. Quickly again. So crouching jab is nice. We maybe don't have to watch the entire thing there, but I will go back. There was a little bit more to talk about, I guess. The catch right away, right? Bravery is quite offensive, and he'd love to be in there. So he dashes in. Xian has the reaction or the guess or whatever it may be, and gets Bravery with crouching jab. Now that's great because it's a 3-frame button. Again, this is crouching strong, although it's a little bit destroyed. There it is. And again, that works as a counter hit combo. But even if Bravery had blocked, crouching jab's +2. So that's still Seth's turn. And then from that round start position, this was round start position for Xian. If you see, he's basically at round start. Walk forward very slightly, but round start position. And he catches Bravery dashing in. Immediately because of that, here we are in the corner. Right away. Immediately with +3 standing short. So again, Seth, corner carry, damage, V meter, super meter built right away into plus frames. Now, after the grab, Seth does not get free dash into pressure. So this is a great button by Bravery here. But Seth is close enough that Seth can harass with, see where they end up, can harass with crouching medium kick, and if you got the confirms, you can do that on a single hit. You can harass with forward strong, which is safe as well. I mean, there's a couple of different ways that you can harass immediately in a way that you're hoping will mean that the opponent will block, and maybe you can then dash in and pressure. These guys have played each other who knows how many times. I mean, these are both parts of the Singaporean scene. They know each other really well. So they're not on like level 1 of like Xian harassing with buttons first. Like they're on level a billion of the mix-ups here. So this is a great understanding of what's going on by bravery and readiness for it. But the point is that Seth definitely can harass immediately after a corner throw. I feel like I was supposed to have been crouching medium into spin. Who knows, though? So this time, Xian chooses to go for the EX. Now, EX will often end up in pressure for Seth, but I guess not as a juggle in that situation. So now it's just Xian ready to play this defensive game of looking for a single more option. Very nice. Okay, so look, only a few hits have come, and Seth is close to death. All right, and finishes off with what would have been target chain into trigger. You know, that was gonna be toast. It was gonna be into mix-ups even on block. We're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot of stuff here that's pretty useful for Seth. There you go. The attempted anti-air for bravery just gets dunked by that move right there. And ready on the anti-air into mix-ups right away. Plus frames. That's not plus, but it does, you know, Seth's safe there. And so now with the life lead, Xian can play this game. He's not doing the axe kicks anymore. He's just waiting for bravery to get in there. Is bravery going to dash in a way that Seth can do crouching jab against? Or is bravery going to jump in a way that stand roundhouse might work? Or maybe just bravery is going to get in there. That's certainly happening right now. All right. What? That was wild times. Okay, here's mix-ups. He's just waiting. This is the throw or frame trap setup right there. I mean, again, I'm not going to tell you I know all the Seth setups right there, but I think that's what was going on. Roundhouse yet again. Saving. Oh, EX he does instead. Okay. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. The roundhouse version of that is plus on block. Oh, yeah. Also, all those spin kicks are projectile invul. And not just invul, but like they beat projectiles. That's cool. Yeah, just trying to get that last little bit of confirm. Here we go. The great block, and then that's plus. And now with that super, all Xian needs to do is hit one more thing. Oh, there it is. Just probably an input error. Must have been an input error from bravery. Assume that was supposed to have been dive kick. Yeah. So at the end of this, right, yeah, jump roundhouse for sure. That was dive, maybe even EX dive kick. And then the solution for Xian is just the easy little hick and frame into super. So, lots of strength from Seth in these first two games here. Here's the issue, though, and this is a useful round to look at because let's talk a little bit about what could be a problem for Seth. That was a pretty big chunk of his life to lose right there, right? Pretty big chunk of his life lost right there. So the issue for Seth, what I'm driving at, is that Seth has low life and stun. Seth is at 925 health and 925 stun. So that is on the lower side of things. You know who else has 925, 925? Why, that's Cammy. That's Cammy. So these two characters have the same amount of life. They have the same amount of health. The idea of the glass cannon is something that happens in many fighting games. Street Fighter's had it. It's something that all Capcom games have had for the last 20 years. You see it in Arxis. I mean, there's different devs like to do this kind of idea. Characters with extremely strong options who just supposedly get melted. And that's how they're balanced out. That's the idea, is that, yes, sure, they can do all sorts of excellent stuff, but if you hit them just a couple of times, they're going to be dead. That's the idea of the glass cannon. Let me tell you about this idea and how often it has been that a character who has great options but not much life has been bad. Has that happened? I can't think of a Capcom game, at least, where that's happened. No, because those characters, I mean, even you have to go to the extremes of CVS2 secret characters before you get a character who's literally dead in 2 or 3 hits, before you can find a character that's not strong. In general, glass cannons are still among the strongest, and that's how it's been in Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5. So in SF5, characters who have not much life include these two, 925, 925, Akuma, who has 900, and many people think that Akuma and Seth are the best 2 characters in the game, and other top tiers have included over the years characters with 900, 925, or 950 life. That's been a lot of the top tier in SF5's life. In SF4, when Seth had even more options and even less life compared to the rest of the cast, Seth was still probably the best character in vanilla SF4. Among the best characters, certainly, in much of that game's life. This idea of the glass cannon has never really balanced things in a way that makes them not strong. I'm not saying that they're broken, but you can definitely be one of the best characters in the game and not have as much life as others. Options are usually better than stats. Absolutely right. And the reason for that is that options are why you don't need life, right? If you have more options, you have more ways to avoid getting hit. You're not gonna get hit if you have more things that you could be doing. Now, that requires a strength of player to make that apparent. But at high levels, that is where people are at. And you can see the payoff for it. By the way, I like James's hair. It's cool. Well, all right. Cool. There we go. Yeah, I like it. All right, well, we're seeing a lot of this good stuff. Oh, he actually missed it. Wow, Xian. And a DP against that. Nicely done. You have to react really fast when Seth goes up into the sky. Oh, well, okay, Xian with the same kind of idea. There we go. Bravery's finding some good spots. I do not mean to say, in saying that I think Seth is very strong, that Seth is unbeatable. There are solutions to a lot of what Seth wants to do. Just not like super great solutions. Roundhouse, again, coming out. Look at the damage on that. Come on. In Street Fighter as an anti-air? Wow. That's an NRS anti-air in terms of damage output. Oh, that is, yeah. Well, it could have been punished. Wow, just the damn. Oh, look, out of this guy, out of his jump arc changer, his safe jump arc changer. Into significant damage without spending meter on the jump arc changer. Activation point, surely. Dude, and Seth maintains pressure faster. That's amazing. Whiff punish was there. Now, Xian definitely could have already just chip killed. If he had wanted to. He's clearly trying to save it. Is that a good idea? I guess we'll see, but that is definitely the idea. Yeah, that could have been DP. We've seen that a couple times out of Bravery. This could have been chip again. And there it is, finally. So Xian ends up getting it. But let's go back and take a look at this anti-air, because I feel like this is such a giant part of why the character is strong, and why this matchup in particular may be one that Xian likes versus Cammy. Okay, yep. EX blocked. Into this guy again, a roundhouse. Anti-airs in Street Fighter V do something, I mean, it depends on the button. 60 damage if it's a medium, 90 if it's a heavy. These are usually mediums if they are anti-air buttons. Dragon punches are, 90 or 100 or something like that. Look at the damage he gets out of this. Wow. And into pressure if he had wanted. That is a unique damage total. I mean, if you think about what Ibuki would get in that situation, would you get back strong into side mix-up? I mean, like, ideally, maybe she gets it into activation into something. I mean, there's not going to be... she has to spend a lot of resources maybe to get big damage in those situations. And her anti-air into damage is better than most. Most characters are going to get a DP, and many characters don't get pressure immediately after their DPs. Or, like, a standing strong into some mix-up. Seth is out here doing, I don't know, what is that, 150, 200 damage, and if he wants, pressuring, or if not, going back to right here. That's a lot. And the strength of that, I think, is not to be undervalued. Very rare in this game that you get big damage out of that sort of stuff. So I guess Xian thought that there was a counter hit there was not. Just seeing the combo route that he chose. Look at that! And into the forward fierce means, so, I mean, if you look back at this combo, this is now 2 hits, by the way, that Xian has done on Cammy. There was the first combo, now there's the second combo. So, yes, changer. This is not even a counter hit. And then crouching strong, EX. Right there. Into 3 frame, +2, crouching jab. That was... He was in the corner. I mean, he started this axe kick with his butt to the corner. If you look at where it was. He started that with his butt to the corner. He was sitting on that elephant's tusk. And then afterward, not only point blank, not only having done another third of her life, but, well, the grab didn't work out, but also in more than half the stage distance after that. Wow. That's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. And then patience. And there's the round. So it's match point for Xian, who dashes forward. I think that might be the first dash in that way. Mostly he's been playing this defensive kind of character here. Yeah, that's safe. Not advantage, but safe. Yes, again, 1 bar spent. You got the corner immediately. Immediately into the grab. Just like that. Super, super quickly. This set is such a great demonstration of a lot of the things that Seth has that are strong. And this is, I see some of people talking about it in the chat, this is with a particular V-trigger V-skill combination. This is V-skill 2, V-trigger 2. And V-skill 2 allows him to get good corner carry, to get through fireballs, to build V-meter pretty practically, to move forward even on block in a way that is like a third of the stage corner carry, and V-skill 2 into rush punch, which is safe and builds me a V-meter even on block. Lots of good stuff there. And then V-trigger 2 is chip damage mix-ups and maybe 2 times per round usage. You could play V-skill 1, V-trigger 1, which is a very safe, hit confirmable, mid-range, something like 1/3 screen option that once it activates will go through whatever, including projectiles. And it's hit confirmable, so you can get into the activation of it, which gives you steals a move per character. And after it hits, you get to get a free dash up into pressure, your plus. And then some characters, the things you steal are really useful. Some are not so useful, but some are great. And then you could also play V-Trigger 1, which gives Seth big damage output, which gives Seth super annoying plus frame stuff that if the opponent's anywhere near to chip death, you can really do a lot of chip into super kills, or just harass them, especially 4-frame characters, 4-frame button characters, who don't have ways to interrupt some of the pressure sequences that Seth does unless they spend V reversal. Or, EXDB, but most of the 4-frame button characters don't have that either. So these are very, very strong options on all sides. Pretty good little demonstration right there. All right, well, let's go back to Xian. No, I'm sorry, not Xian now. This is now SKZ versus, I believe, Potato's Mika. Yeah, Potato. This was from the last CPT Online Southeast Asia, which, of course, SKZ also won. This is from top 8 there. And let's hop in. Now, if you notice, this is V-Skill 2 still for Seth, but it's actually V-Trigger 1 now. So we'll get to look at that a little bit. Yeah, it's 3 bars. Oh my god. Shoutouts to Street Fighter V. So we will see some differences in the players here between SKZ and Xian. Wow, what a dash. That was actually excellent. So that's already V-Trigger. I mean, part of why it's already V-Trigger is that Seth's gotten dunked. A lot of damage lost. But now we're going to get to take a look at V-Trigger 1, what it can do. Ooh, thought he had the hit confirm. I'm sure that's not safe. Yeah. I'm looking it up, though, because I'm still learning about the character myself. V-Trigger 1. Is that actually plus? No. Oh, no, it's the other one that's plus. No, that's -4. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Stand roundhouse in neutral. Oh, and just like that, it gets used. That was versus Mika crouching medium kick. We'll go back and take a look after the round's over. Woo! And corner carry into pressure that we didn't see Xian use either. I really like this because it's 2 different people for sure using the same character. And then that's going to be the stun. And the little instant overhead setup. A lot of stuff that we did not see from Xian. But again, these are 2 different players. So let's go back and take a look here. This stand roundhouse. Now, we've talked about that as an anti-air for the Cammy matchup. But in this matchup, SKZ is using it predictively versus, I would guess, dashes, roundhouses, Mika jump-ins. And that is, yeah, let's see if we can find this without it being kind of corrupted at that little moment there. That was kind of funky. Okay, dash. I believe this is crouching medium. Let's see. Yes, for sure. That's hilarious. Look at that. And of course, this could have been super again, but didn't want it, wanted pressure. In fact, that stand short was expecting a quick rise, looked like, rather than the back tech. So this is something that definitely covers whatever, right? Yeah, and in fact, it was a whiff. So nice little mix-up on defense by Potato. But still, wow. Jump short, which I feel is basically Ryu jump short from Season 1. Remember that move? I think it's back. Good damage and stun there, and now we saw the end of this. Woo! So SKZ is showing some other stuff that the character has. Some different setups. Some different uses of normals that we saw before. Stand roundhouse. More buffering of crouching strong. Crouching medium kick as well. And that's plus. Oh, that's actually super sick. Okay. Mika V skill 2 is not something you think about very often. Nice. Well. Oh, I think that was medium. Okay. Look at the V meter build. Did you see it? I'll go back and take a look. Oi. V trigger activation into immediate pressure. There's so many different things that Seth could be canceling into in these situations. Yeah, there you go. So, SKZ, the mix up here. Yeah, I think that was the medium spin, which is -4. So I feel like this was something she could have done at least like crouching jab on. I don't know. It's my guess, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, yeah. This is on block. This is on block right here. Strong. Strong. Great. Look at the gray life up there, by the way. Look at this. V meter into the corner on block. About a third screen. Jeez. And then the interruption. And now, yeah, again, damage. Meaty stuff. Now this was crouching strong into roundhouse spin, which can be interrupted. And then so right afterward, it was into this instead, throwing all these different looks. And then what was the button intended here? Was that stand jab? Yeah, it was. But it got eaten up by crouching strong. Again, corner carry, damage output, defensive options, offensive options, ability to snowball. Corner carry on block. On block. Oh, I like the idea of that. Unfortunately, you're going to be all the way cornered immediately. Woo! Let's go potato. Wow, the genius move? The unnecessary genius? Oh no, did you lose? I don't remember what happened here. Oh, this is already chip kill. Oh, well, okay. It didn't need to be like that. Already could have been a chip kill situation. Wow. But that was very scary for a second. This was hilarious. What was this? Yeah, other side, and then it was the old whipperoo, and then this. So this is often like, you know, forward fierce or something. This, there's like no, just do forward fierce, right? Doesn't forward fierce do the same thing, but would this have caught EXDP? Would it have gone through maybe? Maybe that was the read. I don't know here. In any case, shout outs to Potato for that. But yeah, that was a very dangerous position. This was definitely a 2-hit kill situation. If that had been a hit rather than a grab, if that had been recognized, you're not going to get a single hit jab into recognition and hit confirm. You know, it's even that. I don't care how good reactions you are, that's too much. But a couple situations there where SKZ could have just taken the round right away. Oh, let me go back. Hey, thanks Werewolf for the sub. Much obliged. Wow. Okay. Okay, for sure. It was -2, but all right. Get in there. Oh no, it feels bad. We didn't see Xian do that once, but here is SKZ and pumping the damage out. Wow. That was one hit. Is this gonna kill? Maybe. It's gonna be close. Yeah. That was last hit. Yeah, it was. Okay. So again, this is just SKZ is just full screen. And it's just like, I don't think you're gonna do anything about this. So here we come from full screen into building V meter, into being safe. And then poor Potato just doesn't know where that's gonna end up. Like it's almost weird. This is like what I imagine people are thinking when they block Honda butt slam and they're like, why did he bounce away so far? But for Seth. And so standing strong, was it? Yeah, strong. It just doesn't even approach where Seth was. But Seth can definitely still do crouching medium kick and turn that into a full-on corner knockdown, and then Potato's dead, essentially, in just a couple more series. So that was begun by, oh, I'm going too far. That was begun by this full screen, completely opposite sides, V-skill dash into rush punch. Now, any amount of it was avoidable, right? It wasn't a guarantee that Potato was about to lose, but that was begun by this, rather than like other characters are like, all right, how am I gonna like try to get into a certain range, and I'm gonna take a risk on the jump in, maybe she'll land time me, I hope not. Like, SKZ is just going straight to the point. Boy, and that was a crouching short. That was a crouching short underneath this. That's a fast button. And it recovers quickly. But it lost. Yikes. Okay. Seth is a pain. Well, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm with you. Look, I don't want to make it seem like I think Seth is too good. I'm just trying to build a case as to why SKZ and Xian have both qualified for Capcom Cup, both using the same character. By the way, East and Alex, I think, did a good job on commentary. It was cool. I don't hear them very often. Met East out at Evo Japan. He's a cool guy. Ooh, we haven't even talked about crouching roundhouse. That hasn't even been a topic of conversation yet. I'm not sure it will be in the matches that we're going to watch. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, called out the V-skill dash. Oh, what a jerk face. Oh. What a different style, isn't it? Versus Xian's Ibuki. Seth. I feel like Xian's was so much more cautious, and SKZ's command dashing in, V-skill dashing in, and dive kicking and whatever, a lot. Yeah, I've seen Alex before. I've seen East before. It's just not very often. But yeah, I think they did well. By the way, I think Potato's cool. And they had an interview with him on the pre-Southeast Asia CPT stream this past weekend, which was awesome. Wow. Okay, for sure. Okay, all right, let me get back to talking about the match here. That was pretty cool. God, there's just so many different little timings. Of course, a giant part of this game and many fighting games is the idea of stealing turns. And so what Seth would love to do is, primarily get a hit. If not get a hit, steal more plus frame situations. And Seth can definitely do that with roundhouse spin kick and with V-trigger punchy punch, whatever it's called. I don't know the true name. So Seth's capable of that stuff, and at the same time is capable of throwing different looks in that themselves are not going to be punishable either. But, you know, anyway, Potato ends up getting it. Might be going to that well a little bit too much. Ugh, Ryu jumped short. Parry it? Wow. Oh, that's very cute. That's very good. This actually might kill. Is gonna build super, I would think. Yeah. Okay. So chose not to get the stun before at the end of the stun combo in hopes of finding one more hit into probably the kill here. Yes. It's a good choice. No doubt. And not many characters are better in this situation right here than Seth. Not that Seth's the best character. Plenty of characters have just good, left to right, overhead, low, binary sort of options. But Seth's got a lot of them. There it is. And then seals it. Very smart stuff by SKZ. Who played really well. No doubt. Ended up, of course, winning this event. All right. Pretty good looking stuff, I would say, from SKZ Seth. Again, pretty different. We had some riskier play out of SKZ, who was willing to use the V-skill dash a little bit more often. Empty V-skill dash as well. Was willing to dive kick a little bit more. We saw different options in neutral, both stand roundhouse, more crouching strong and crouching medium kick as just footsie buffers. We saw different mix-ups up close. We see a different V-trigger. So what I'm trying to impart by talking about this stuff is not just that Seth is strong in one particular way. I think some characters in Street Fighter V are strong, but maybe in like one way or two ways even. They've diversified things a little bit in SF5. In Season 1, I would have told you I think characters like Cammy are there's like one thing to do with them. But in Season 5 now, I think that's not right. I think there's more ways to play. But even still, there are some limitations in that. Seth, like I said, you could have V-Skill 1 or V-Skill 2. You could have V-Trigger 1 or V-Trigger 2. You could play a certain style, patiently defensively if you want. You could play a more rush-heavy style if you want. You could play neutral footsies monster if you want. Even if you play one of those styles, you have different options you could pick. Maybe you prefer to do certain mix-ups up close. Maybe you prefer to get certain Oki rather than others. It's up to you. It's up to you. There's a lot of different options with this character, and you can express yourself in different ways as a player as well. 2 matches we've looked at so far. SKZ versus Potato right there, and Xian versus Bravery before. These are from different weeks. We're going to take a break, but what we're going to do after that is take a look at SKZ and Xian back-to-back. And that's going to be Xian Ibuki playing, and then it's going to be SKZ Seth right after that in the losers and grand finals of the matches that they played at CPT Online Southeast Asia #1. Wanted to do that just to take a look at comparing and contrasting what a character like Ibuki's options are versus what a character like Seth's options are. All right, well, let's send it down to the field. Back to you, David. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, David. I appreciate it. Very interesting insight up there. You know, I've often said that I wish I had your level of insight. Maybe they'd put me up in the cool, air-conditioned press box someday rather than here in this toasty field. Of course, everybody knows how hot it's been in California lately, and I am sweating down here. I'd love to be upstairs someday, but maybe I'll have to work on my analysis before I can do that. In any case, like David said, production's telling me that we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more in just a little bit. Welcome back to Monday Morning Quarters Back. We've been looking at Seth in Street Fighter V in Season 5 and trying to understand how it is that both SKZ and Xian came to play Seth and qualify for Capcom Cup in the CPT. To do that, David upstairs took a look at SKZ's Seth and also Xian, Seth individually. What we're going to do now is have a cool back-to-back setup, which is like perfectly made for analysis. It will be Chuan playing versus Xian's Ibuki, and it will be Chuan then playing versus SKZ's Seth. David, take it away. Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate that. Like David said, we're going to take a look now at Chuan versus Ibuki from Xian. Let's just hop right in without further ado. Ah, the Campanile in the background. Berkeley, California. Beautiful place. Chuan is a really, really good Gaia player. He has been strong a long time. And Xian knows Chuan well, right? I mean, both of these players have played who knows how many times. And we saw Xian play Seth before, but, you know, we'll talk about Ibuki. So Ibuki is a character that in this season, some people think is a little less strong than was before. She did get some nerfs. Activating V-Trigger 2 up close is punishable now. There's a couple other things. And, you know, some people have dropped her. Xian, of course, we were talking about him playing Seth. But Fujimura's dropped Ibuki, right? There's not quite as much usage of the character as previously. So this character still has good movement speed, has plus frame options up close, has air, EX kunai. You know, some of that stuff's been nerfed over the years, but it's still in there. Has, you know, command dash still, right? Good mix-ups out of this one still. Good just knockdown, corner pressure out of that. It was pretty cautious there for Xian, but you could definitely see it. Oh, actually has V-Skill too. Wow. Okay, I was not sure if we would get to see that. That is fascinating. Oh no, are you gonna get a cool birdie combo? Wow, that was so sick. Oh, don't lose the round now. Oh no, you lost? Oh no! I don't think that's gonna be enough. I mean, it's gonna be safe. Yeah, okay. It's actually plus frames in V-Trigger activation. Wow. So even after that cool V-Skill usage, even still, lost the round. It's rare to see Ibuki V-Skill too, but I guess it's just rare in general now to see Ibuki. You just don't see her very often. Of course, that V-Skill 1 has been nerfed a couple times over the years as well. Doesn't reel back as much as before. A lot of grounded play from Xian. He has a finite resource in kunais, so it's not like you want to go up into the sky all the time and approach via air kunai. You only get to do that so many times per round. Here's one of them. Nice. We saw him try that stand roundhouse in neutral. This time it did work. So there were a couple of neutral of pressure options, I should say, that stand mediums +2. But caught in the corner now and maybe dead. Oh, wow. What a jerk. Wow, that was so sick. What? Chuan is so good. The jump in there. Now, Xian definitely could have anti-aired that, but what am I looking at? What are we looking at here? Oh, it's her hair protruding out of the Russian doll. Why not? What are we seeing? That's a sight. You know, SF5's gotten a lot better. It's a really good, I feel personally, it's a really, really good fighting game. The gameplay I love. It's honestly maybe my second favorite Street Fighter game in terms of gameplay. You know, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I see people in the chat talking about my hair. Let's talk about this. All right. Let's move on. Pretty floaty jump up there, and one of the issues too is that, you know, if she lets a kunai go and there's already a flash kick out, flash kick will actually hit kunai. It's just a little thing you can touch, right? It's not a true projectile to get through stuff. Okay, here we go. It was a confirm, certainly. Into side to side, or just into grab, I guess. You know, of course, there's multiple things you can do in that situation. Running out of kunais, 3 left. Okay. I believe this was close, if I recall correctly. I think Xian made this a close one. But this was as you can see up top, this is losers finals. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, think about what Seth would have gotten in that situation. Seth would have gotten, I don't know, 250 damage in corner right away. Okay. Keep it cool, birdie. That's so sick. I love seeing banana combos. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, you can hit kunai. Yeah. And it was the same way in Street Fighter 4. In fact, third strike is the same. Yeah. But that didn't immediately create anything. It's just a nice way to maybe not change your jump arc even is maybe not what you even say. I mean, it does a little bit, but it's primarily about just having this extra range in a way that's not going to put Ibuki at risk immediately. But Seth can do the same and end up then at a range where he can get pressure or even just confirm a combo. Nice. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Neutral jumping right over that and didn't have EX bar for anti-air DP. And again. And that range right there, that kind of close-ish, it's not, you wouldn't say this is point blank or anything, but this range right here is a range which you can do like maybe jump instant release, but it's not going to be the mix-up is not going to be as safe, certainly, and maybe not as strong as Seth jumping from about that same spot. Wow, the bravery. This is Chuan, not bravery now. Ooh, the jab into the target chain actually whiffed after the first hit. That's a bummer. I'm trying not to make it seem like Ibuki sucks, because I definitely don't think she sucks, but I think you are seeing things here that are not as strong as what Seth could have done in some of these situations. I think you're seeing, combo conversions that didn't lead to quite as much damage or corner carry, or certainly more V-meter, and you're seeing pressure that maybe is not as strong, variations in the jump arc that may not be... No more EX bar. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I love the offensive V reversal. Yeah. Now, but that wouldn't have been safe. And again, it didn't even kill. Right. Now, of course, Xian in this range, we already saw, in fact, was it this round? I think it might have been this round that we saw. Yeah, it was. Right. So EX can actually get through projectiles. That's pretty cool. So she does have an anti-projectile move, as many characters do. It costs EX meter. Seth has spin that is just projectile invulnerable. Now, it's not frame 1. It is frames 4 and after. Depends on length of the move. But for Roundhouse, it's frames 4 through 26 projectile invul. And that's not punishable. It's plus on block. Right? Not to mention even having V-Skill 2, which is projectile invul. Or V-Skill 1, which is projectile invul. It's first frame. I'm sorry, it's after the second hit connects, it's first frame invul. So if you just do it, it's going to be projectile invul if it connects, right? And then the projectile passes through you. So he has a bunch of different things that are just natively projectile invulnerable. And Ibuki has one. Again, I'm not trying to say that Ibuki's bad, but I think you're beginning to see that Seth seems to have more options. Okay. What's up, Ghetto Afro? Oh. traded with the roundhouse now. That was supposed to have been crushed. We did see that work before, but that's a bet. And think about her roundhouse, which is going to whiff against people who are pressing anything low, versus Seth's, which just beat Mika crouching medium kick earlier. Not to mention the anti-air utility of it. Okay, all right, so hey, back strong in the mix-up, right? That's what we were saying before for anti-air options for Ibuki. Whereas, again, Seth's out there getting stand roundhouse into whatever damage or pressure. Wow, okay, interesting. A little back and forth right there by Chuan. Great timing, but doesn't immediately turn into anything. Whereas, again, we've seen Seth get the axe kick into crouching strong as a combo without counter hit. Wow, that was pretty tricky, though. That was cool. The stand short to make it look like the other direction. Very cute. Okay. Maybe stun? Or maybe keep it rolling. Oh, well, did go for stun, actually. Is the mix-up post-stun going to be sick? What do we got? Okay, all right. Well, sometimes as the defender in those situations, you do 2 EX flash kicks. Sometimes you do it. Sometimes you get killed for it. That maybe not like a strong character indication or matchup indication or anything. That's more of a player-by-player thing there. But great reads by Xian, certainly. You see Chuan trying to stay at about that range right there. It's, you know, Xian's putting in a couple different kunai spots. But that range in general is a range where, you know, maybe she does kunai as a jump in and maybe it's blocked, but it doesn't really lead to anything. And if she jumps in just like that, it's perfect timing by these two players, Chuan can get flash kick or crouching fierce. And now Xian would love to get an activation into things. Yeah, okay, great. But there's one of these. And he chooses to go for some kind of funky setup. Oh, boy, that could have been a combo, certainly. Oh, no. Okay. All right. There's that range right there. Yes, I was just going to say, Xian doesn't like playing at that spot. He wants to be a little bit further away at the range we were talking about just before, where he could begin things a little bit better in the air. But that range about there, where there's a boom, where there could be... These are perfect timing. Yeah, Sobat, roundhouse, that sort of stuff. That seems like a tough spot. And remember, it can't just be into activation. Seth, of course, just gets to do that. V-trigger 1 or 2, really. But, you know, Xian can do that at range, but point blank, no, it's going to be punishable. Oh, no. Well, okay. But that is all the kunais, and now she's got to try to get back in without kunai. It basically has to be a V-trigger hit into some kind of mix-up. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, the patience. The fear really is what it was from Xian right there, who knew that he's so close to losing. If that had been EXDP, he might have already lost. Or EX flash kick, whatever. Still, no kunais. That is a finite resource, and it ran out. And at that point, Xian's ability to do any number of things, change his jump arc, EX kunai to build plus frames from the air. Oh, man, I tell you, I'm just trying to do my job up here in the press box, and I don't want to badmouth production too much. I mean, they're putting on the show after all, but some of these things are tough. Just tough to put up with. Little production issues in this way. You would think, given the resources that we have, you would think, given the budget that this show gets, that we'd be able to get better production, better sound management. But no. We got the NASL sound guy up here. Yeah, I just had to unplug and replug, that was all. I mean, the production did. Anyway, I'm just trying to build a case that Ibuki is not bad, but that Ibuki is probably not as option heavy as Seth is. So when it comes to trying to figure out how Ibuki can get over or through booms versus how Seth gets over or through booms, the mix-ups that they have up close, the ability to activate in a way that could be plus frames rather than punishable. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff. The damage and corner carry and meter building and V meter building that Ibuki gets compared to all of those from Seth. The anti-air damage, a lot of different stuff. Again, I don't think that Ibuki's bad, but I do think that if you look how Xian played there versus how his Seth looked when we looked earlier, I think that seems like a different story. And to make that even more obvious, let's move on a little bit here. We're going to look now at what is the grand finals, as you could see. So Xian's out later, and now it's going to be SKZ versus Chuan in the end. And we're going to get to take a look back to back at Chuan Guile versus Xian's Ibuki versus SKZ's Seth right away. So let's do that. And let's try to look at what the ways that this is different are. You know, what's the difference here? Okay, dashing in. Dang, oh, and the attempt to V-skill through a boom most likely. And of course Chuan knows this. Chuan knows the threat of V-skill and of the kick, the spin kick. And so he's just throwing fewer booms. Not that he has a great chance to do anything right now. Okay. Ooh, what a call. I mean, he's a smart player. But you can already see the V-skill dash is making the way that Chuan plays different. The spin kick is doing the same thing. Aye, okay. Yeah, wanted the corner there. Okay. And the harassment. And so what was the implied threat of this? This is in the knockdown. So I guess if there had been a second dash, Chuan would have been able to interrupt. But EX is safe. EX Hekatonkeries. It's -2. And this is going to be canceled into hands, right, even if it hadn't killed. So, hey, that was that. Already you can see, like, right away, Chuan doesn't feel as comfortable throwing booms. He tried it a couple of times, but he had to have things immediately thereafter. He had to have, let's see where it was. It was earlier on, where... Really going hard at this one. He wants that spot in Capcom. Yeah, and by the way, faster jump, so a regular jump in is going to be more credible as well. Again, coast to coast with all those combos from Seth. There's the takeoff. Might have been shortly after this. What I'm looking for is, yeah, I think it was after this here. So boom, and then forward fierce. Yeah. The back fist right away. And the reason is that Seth has these different options to get through that boom. So Guile can't feel comfortable about throwing a second boom. Instead, it has to be something else that means that the screen control is going to be less. I don't know how he gets away with all of these. I really don't. All right, let's move on to the next round. Has to win 3 games here. Chuan and losers has to win the first 3, then reset to take the entire thing. That's a good point. SKZ. And the fact that Chuan knows the threat of these options, just like this, means that SKZ is going to get dashes because there are fewer booms. You know, he's going to get more jumps. Yeah, so he's actually been going to the... Chuan's doing a great job of punishing. But he's also waiting a lot, and that's giving these different opportunities here to SKZ. Between the heavy and the mediums. Crouching roundhouse, we still haven't talked about. We'll talk about it at the end of this round. Yeah, that's right. Chuan finding himself in the corner now, down 1 game in this first... Oh, okay, I really like that. Sorry, 1 round. That was super good. He's pushing forward against SKZ. He knows he's got to take the initiative. You're in trouble, you know, right away. Now that SKZ is activated, trying to hit him with the crouching medium kick. Now, Chuan is also one. Oh no! Taking the game. No, that's gonna be good though. Does he spin here? Oh wow! The one time he threw the boom, and that's surely death, right?
think this is. I'm not sure if this is enough. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. It's enough. Does he spin here?
Harder for him now.
The one time, I mean, all this time, Chuan is here hanging out, trying this kind of stuff, trying normals. I mean, Guile has a lot of different options. He doesn't need to throw booms constantly. He has good normals. And so we don't see booms. We see that sort of stuff.
Now, Chuan is also one.
The one time there's a boom, it happened to be the jump. But this is an easier thing to set up because there are all these different options to get through booms. And so Chuan has to be really careful. He has to do it rarely. And if he does throw the boom, he has to be, you know, he has to expect there could be a jump, a V-skill, a spin kick, whatever. And it was a jump this time.
One good critical
And that's what took the game.
No, that's gonna be going to that. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. It's enough. For sure. For sure. During V trigger, you get the buff. So yeah.
It's always enough with that V trigger, isn't it? With that critical up.
By the way, I think the commentators just said it. I have it pretty low, so I don't think you guys can really hear it. But there is a damage buff as well. If you do super during V trigger, it does 350 rather than 330. Not a big damage buff, but not many characters even get that kind of damage buff. You know, Guile's another character who has a buff in V trigger, of course. Yeah, right on through. And so you just see this Guile character frozen, kind of.
If you guys have been paying attention to Sanko, that guy's also been running.
Is that stun? Certainly. Yeah, for sure.
Might take the character over the edge.
Ugh. Right into the pressure again. All sorts of safe stuff. And now what do you do if you're Chuan? Do you throw the boom? I guess. What else are you going to do? But that's what he tried. And it did not seem to work out very well. So this round was into the corner, I don't know, 5 seconds into it? 10 seconds into it? Yeah, spun through. Ba-ba!
You know what's crazy is that
right away. Right away. That was meterless. I don't know, 250, I would guess, something like that. Maybe a little more.
Sanko, that guy's also been running some crazy V trigger 2 stuff, which might take the character over the edge.
And think back to what Ibuki was getting when she would get some combo like that. It was less damage, and the pressure was not as strong afterward.
Seriously in trouble now. He needs to activate if he wants to stay alive.
He's got to do something here. Oh my God, the spin kick, you're gonna get to the.
There you go.
The fireball and then medium wake up.
Yeah, Seth's not unique in having a damage buff in V trigger. There's a couple others as well, not just Sakura. Nakali, I mean, there's a few, but it's still rare.
Just to let Chuan hang himself with the EX flash kick, but he didn't go for it. But he died nonetheless. Now he's trying to catch.
And that would have been. It was safe on block, but it would have made it through the boom as well. Yeah. God, that's so cheap. Come on. Seriously, the range that gets put at, I mean, it's remarkable, honestly. And safe as well from an anti-air due to changing the jump arc. Ryu, Season 1 jump short.
Oh no, looks like Chuan really hesitating on the anti-airs right now. SKZ just jumped over him twice. He could have opted to go for the flash.
Again, that's happened so many times.
What do you do?
Wow.
I haven't seen Chuan so lost from the corner, so lost.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my God!
Chuan in the corner now.
And now Chuan has to save the trigger. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that's it. As soon as he does anything there, it's just gonna be Seth super.
Once he saw that he activated, he's like, "You don't
that
have
was
universal anymore, so I can just ship you to death." That's it. I wonder if he could have opted
as soon as he walked, or you know, whatever it was. So in this round again, we're seeing a lot of situations that are strong for Seth and hard for Guile to deal with, and options that Ibuki either doesn't have or has weaker ones or more resource intensive ones than Seth has. Yeah, it is low risk. You know, okay, what do you do about a Seth spinning in your face in this way? So it takes a while to start up. The roundhouse spin takes a while to start. I guess I'll look it up. What do we got here? 27 frames. Yeah, that's pretty slow. But it could be light or medium. And then if you try to hit it, you know, you're going to get hit instead. It's just something you have to keep your eye on, really. We already saw Chuan trying to wait to block so he could punish, and soon thereafter, we started seeing more of SKZ just doing the roundhouse one, which is plus on block. You know, you could jump as well. You could jump over. I'm sure Guile can do like a jump early roundhouse into combo in this thing, but that is a particular read. You know, it's not something you're gonna be doing all the time.
And the critical art sealed the deal.
It certainly did. All right, Singapore and SKZ. Singapore,
And yeah,
now
it's
1 game
pretty
away.
tough to do
Singapore
spin
in
on
the
reaction
Capcom
to
Cup.
boom. I wouldn't
Looks
put
like,
it past somebody like
Chuan might take a
SKZ,
moment
but
too. I'm not
it's
sure if he's gonna go strap for.
it's very hard at minimum because it is projectile invul from frame 4, so that's pretty fast, but it's not instant. It's not instant.
Oh, he is going straight into the third game now.
Straight
Not
back
wasting any
into it.
time. SKC on the verge.
Yeah, trying it out there.
Yeah,
That's plus, right? Look at all these little spins. So he's hoping that Chuan will respect those enough to let them get him, and that's exactly what's happening.
Chuan's got to do something to make it happen. Like it feels like he's falling asleep in this matchup, and he's gonna get dismantled if he keeps this up.
Wow! Over the grab, Funky.
He's opting to go for the EX flash kick, which is, to be fair, he's been doing most of.
And now, due to having seen how frozen Chuan was, SKZ took advantage of it by doing the V-skill dash into punches, which is right up there. Right up close. V-meter building and into the corner and safe.
Please get away from me. Look, man, I don't like you.
Now, SKZ's doing a good job, too, of not always going to something. He is not constantly doing things. It's not easy for his opponents to predict. Shoutouts to Ryu Season 1!
He's so confident in those.
Gotta be careful.
But he's doing things often enough that it's clearly not easy for Chuan.
Will he have a chance to activate, or is he gonna have to spin it or V reversal? Look at all the gray life.
Mmm.
So again, tries to build that grey life on Chuan, but Chuan blocking just in time. All right, SKZ.
Oh boy. And again, with that counter hit combo, whereas many characters, again, need to be pretty close for their crouching jab into whatever counter hit to work out. Not Seth. Not Seth. Let's see. Let's look at where this crouching jab takes place. Look at that. That's pretty far, really, for a conversion like this. And the fact that it nevertheless goes into full damage. Pretty good. I mean, as you can see, there's quite a bit of damage left on that combo.
Away from taking the Pro Tour event for Southeast Asia for a coveted spot in Capcom Cup. This is SKZ's moment. Here we go.
Yep, again, he knows that Chuan is worried about these different options. About spin kick, about air axe kick. Yeah, there you go. About regular jump in. No, Ryu. Ghost of Ryu.
All right, great boon to stop.
About all these things. And so because of that, there are fewer boons. And so hence... Oh, here we go. Finally, the jump in. We talked about it as a potential solution before, but this is the first one we've seen.
Waking up here, I like this. You know, he started to anti-air. On activation here for SKZ, though. Gotta be careful. Gets the corner. There's the extra damage as well.
2 hits from taking the tournament right now. Now 1.
Throw. Not like this, please. Activation. Here we go. Yo, SKZ's backdash 4 times.
Oh no! There it is. That's the tournament. So SKZ qualified for Capcom Cup on the strength of that right there. That was crouching jab nothing, I think. Yeah, and that's pretty rare. I mean, I get the read that Chuan goes for here. Usually when people try one frame trap, they try the springing of the trap, right? That when they set it up with the crouching jab, they then tend to do whatever their button is, right? Whatever their follow-up is, and for Seth, it's crouching strong typically. So I get it. That's very common. It's a really good read by SKZ to not do it in this case. Again, like with Xian, these players have all played each other a lot, so they're going to know each other's tendencies, and here, SKZ took advantage of his expectation, was absolutely right. Qualified for Capcom Cup, as Xian did last night by taking the second CPT Online Southeast Asia. They both did it with Seth, and I think you could see so many things over the past several matches that we watched that are strengths for Seth and reasons why Seth is preferable to playing Ibuki, at least in some matchups. Again, I really don't want to come across as saying that I think Ibuki's bad, because that's not my intention. But I nevertheless do think it's pretty clear that Seth has stronger and better options in some substantial ways. And Xian going to Seth from Ibuki is not a big surprise to me. I'm happy that it's happening for him because he's playing what is clearly a strong character, and I like Xian a lot. He's a really good dude, so I'm very happy for him that he's made it back into Capcom Cup. I think that's really great. Part of why he's there is character choice. Again, think back to when he was playing Fang in Season 1, and it didn't go super great, and as soon as Ibuki came out, he jumped ship on the Fang. He's never gone back, because Fang has never really been buffed in a way that makes Fang a strong character. Fang has had some buffs here and there, and is not as bad as he once was, but he's still on the lower half of things, you would say, than in the upper half. And speaking of Xian, he had a short interview that was done after the tournament that he won yesterday, and I'd like to play that, so I'm gonna pump up the volume here, and I hope that this will be audible to you. I'm not going to say anything during this time, but the question is asked of him why he's playing Seth, not Ibuki, and let's head in there.
We've seen a lot on the tier charts from Japan, from Fudo's stream and stuff, that Ibuki is not particularly rated particularly high. Like, where do you feel, and why the choice of going with Seth versus Cammy as opposed to your Ibuki?
I always felt that even from the last season, I don't really like the Ibuki and Cammy matchup.
Okay.
Like, it was kind of even, but I didn't really feel like there's an advantage. But I really think that Fujimura puts Ibuki in a different tier. I think without Fujimura, I don't think there will ever be a Ibuki that can the tier list just changed because Fujimura doesn't main a character. That's how I felt.
I think that's a really interesting answer. The answer that he gave was not Ibuki loses to Cammy and I have to switch to a matchup that lets me compete. That was not really the answer. It wasn't an answer of somebody who was like in a bad spot and wanted to not be in a bad spot. This is the answer of somebody who wants to win Capcom Cup. That's the answer. This is the answer of somebody who sees that he only has an even situation. And if he could avoid that, if he could instead give himself not an even matchup, but a winning matchup, why not? I think that's a very insightful answer that Xian gives here. And it's not the kind of answer that we tend to say. Most of us are not in this group of people who could plausibly win life-changing money in Capcom Cup, right? Most of us are not considering realistically, how can we win a down payment on a house playing Street Fighter? It's not a question we're trying to answer for ourselves. Only some of us are, and Xian's one of them. And so he doesn't want to have these even matchups. That's a bad matchup. Did you hear him say that? I think this is kind of a bad matchup. It's even. Give me an advantage. And he has it now. So, good work to Xian. That was a very interesting little interview they had. There was a longer interview there. I encourage you to go check it out for yourself. St. Cola and James asked some cool questions of him. And he's a smart dude. You know, he has a good sort of media personality for himself, and he gave some good answers. So check it out in full. But I like that answer in particular because I think it really shows you what the point of this all is, which is not to say that Ibuki is bad or that the character that SKZ was playing before was bad. I recall him playing Cammy. Strong. Never has been bad in Street Fighter V, like since launch. Hasn't been bad in a Capcom game other than Super Turbo, maybe one of the alphas. Like, almost never has actually been bad. Almost always has been high tier or top tier, maybe the best in some cases. No, that's not it. Those are not bad characters. Instead, the question that they're asking themselves as players here is not what could give me a pretty good chance to win. It's what could give me the best chance to win. What could give me the best way to win Capcom Cup? And they think it's Seth. And I think that they are absolutely right. I continue to think that Seth is maybe the best character in the game. I think that this is a very well-balanced season, all things considered. Of course, there are going to be tiers. There are characters I think are on the lower end and on the upper end. I think there's a big blob of characters in the middle. So it's a good job of balancing. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But I do think that Seth is on the top side of that. And I think there's a lot of different reasons why. You could see that in these sets here. Congrats to Xian. Congrats to SKZ. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out with me for the last little while up here in the press box. Again, really enjoy the nice, cool press box of California Memorial Stadium. They just built it recently. This is just a couple years old, and we all really enjoy it in here. As I'm sure you could tell, there's a little bit of hubbub going on behind me, as there always is. I think you can probably hear that a little bit. It's crowded in here. It's crowded in here. Everybody wants to get out of the heat. And good luck to you in parts of the country and the world that are about to experience the fall coming tomorrow. The autumn, I've heard, is coming, but we here in California don't know anything about that, as it remains yet another 85-degree day. All right, let's go down to David. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks, David. Yep. Trying to make me jealous up there, are ya, huh? I'm down here in this blazing hot field, as you can see. All these people radiating heat behind me as well. At least the skies are blue, though. And there is that. There is that. You know, it hasn't always been the case recently up here in the Bay Area of California that skies have been blue. They've been other colors. They've looked different. So that at least is nice. Thanks for all the analysis up there. Sorry about the little production hiccup we had at one point. I've been alerted to the fact that the production manager has already been fired. And so if that's something you're concerned about in the future, please don't be. We've made sure to can that guy. He's gone. We're going to put out the word for a new hiring in the future, so keep an eye on that. We're trying to get somebody else involved here who won't have that problem in the future. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us on Monday Morning Quartersback. We'll be back next week. We do this each morning at 11 a.m. We used to be in the 10 a.m. time slot, and we were told by the ratings that actually 11 is probably going to be better. So from now on, this will be starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you next week for that. Thanks a lot for hanging out.